In a shocking and tragic event, the first execution of an openly transgender person in the United States took place in Missouri, where Amber McLaughlin, a transgender woman, was put to death for murder. This tragic event has sparked controversy and debate, highlighting the complexities of the death penalty. In this video, we will explore the execution of a transgender person and delve into the legal and moral implications of this controversial decision. Amber McLaughlin, 49, faced a grim fate after being convicted of murdering his ex-girlfriend, a crime involving stalking and later abandoning the body near the Mississippi River in St. Louis in 2003. The decision was sealed when Missouri's Republican governor, Mike Parson, denied McLaughlin's plea for clemency. During her final moments, McLaughlin, accompanied by a spiritual advisor, spoke in a soft voice as the lethal dose of pentobarbital was administered. She took several deep breaths and gently closed her eyes. Within minutes, she was pronounced dead. In her last written statement, McLaughlin expressed regret, saying, "I am sorry for what I did." She added, "I am a kind and compassionate person." Since the mid-1970s, when the death penalty made its comeback, there have been 1,558 people who've received this last sentence, according to the Death Penalty Information Center, which, by the way, is not a fan of capital punishment. Here's an interesting bit. Of all those executed, only 17 weren't made. That's right, almost every person who's ended up on death row has been male. And there's something that might really surprise you. There hasn't been any record of an official transgender person being executed before. And just 3 years ago, McLaughlin began transitioning while serving time in Potosi State Prison. In 2016, McLaughlin's death sentence took a twist when a federal district court flipped it, pointing out that leaving out her mental health details was a serious and unfair mistake. But this didn't last long. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Eighth Circuit turned things around and reinstated her death sentence. After that, the U.S. Supreme Court decided not to step in and hear her case. Loads of groups, including a couple of Missouri Congress members and 7 former Missouri judges, really backed McLaughlin's plea for mercy. On December 15, 2022, these judges, with the recently retired Missouri Supreme Court Chief Justice Michael A. Wolff leading the charge, wrote a heartfelt letter to Missouri's governor, Mike Parson. They were pushing for McLaughlin's sentence to be changed to life in prison without parole. Their argument? The community's voice wasn't in favor of the death sentence. Then, on December 27, 2022, Representatives Emanuel Cleaver and Cori Bush, who also happened to be licensed clergy, chimed in. They wrote to Parson, saying that believing in both accountability and the sanctity of life is possible. Their message was clear: showing mercy could save a life. Here's something the jury never got to hear. McLaughlin had a really tough childhood and struggled with mental health issues. It all came out in the clemency petition. As a kid, her adoptive father used a stun gun on her, and a foster parent even smeared excrement on her face. The petition also highlighted her depression, which led to multiple suicidal attempts, both during her childhood and as an adult. The clemency petition also mentioned that McLaughlin was diagnosed with gender dysphoria. This is a condition where there's a conflict between a person's physical gender at birth and the gender they identify with, often leading to significant stress. But McLaughlin's lawyer, Larry Comp, emphasized that the clemency plea wasn't really centered on her gender identity. Let's take a moment to rest. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more insightful videos. Now, rewinding back to before McLaughlin transitioned, in 2003, she was in a relationship with Beverly Gunther. After they split, things got pretty intense. According to court records, McLaughlin sometimes hid inside Gunther's office in suburban St. Louis. Gunther even got a restraining order, and sometimes cops had to escort her to her car after work. On November 20, 2003, Beverly Gunther didn't make it home, prompting her neighbors to call the cops. When the police showed up at her office, they found a chilling scene: a blood stain and a snapped knife handle right by her car. The next day, McLaughlin led the cops to where the body was dumped, not far from the Mississippi River in St. Louis. It was a grim discovery. Gunther had been stabbed multiple times with a steak knife and, as the authorities reported, she had also been sexually assaulted. Back in 2006, McLaughlin was convicted of first-degree murder. The jury hit a deadlock on deciding the punishment, so a judge stepped in and handed down the death penalty. Interestingly, McLaughlin's lawyer, Comp, points out that only in Missouri and Indiana can a judge make such a call to sentence someone to death. Jessica Hicklin, 43, did a 26-year stretch for a drug crime in western Missouri back in '95. She was just a teen then, only 16. Jessica knew Amber before her transition. Thanks to being so young when she got mixed up in that crime, Jessica finally got her ticket to freedom in January 2022. At 43, Hicklin began her transition behind bars and took on the Missouri Department of Corrections in 2016. She challenged their rule against hormone therapy for inmates who hadn't started it before getting locked up. Winning her case in 2018 was a big deal. After that, she became a mentor to McLaughlin and other transgender prisoners, guiding them through their own journeys while they were still inside. Hicklin and McLaughlin shared over a decade in prison, but McLaughlin was so introverted they barely talked. Things changed about 3 years ago when McLaughlin began her transition and turned to Hicklin for guidance. She needed advice on how to navigate life in a male-run, maximum security prison as a transgender woman, especially on getting support for her safety and mental health treatment. That's when their interactions really picked up, with Hicklin offering her insights and experience. Hicklin stepped up as McLaughlin's guide, showing her the ropes of dealing with prison bureaucracy and paperwork. "I taught her what to file and who to talk to," Hicklin shared. In this process, a genuine friendship grew up between them. Hicklin fondly remembered their weekly catch-ups, dubbed Girl Talk. "She always had a smile and was quick with dad jokes," she said. "It became a thing. You'd kick off chats with McLaughlin with one of those classic dad jokes, lightening the mood and setting the tone for their heartfelt conversations." Their conversations often dove into the tough challenges of being a transgender prisoner in a male facility. They tackled everything from finding feminine products to dealing with hurtful comments and staying safe. These conversations weren't just casual. They were crucial survival tips shared between friends navigating a complex and often harsh environment. Hicklin painted McLaughlin as someone still grappling with insecurities, especially about her safety. "She was definitely vulnerable," Hicklin said, highlighting McLaughlin's fears of abuse or victimization. "This was a common worry for transgender individuals in the prison system," Hicklin noted, "where they often face higher risks from such experiences." Her concern for McLaughlin's well-being was evident. The execution of a transgender individual raises many questions about the fairness of the legal process and the treatment of transgender people in society. As the debate continues, it is essential for us to remain informed and engaged in this critical issue, ensuring that we uphold the principles of justice and equality for all. If you're intrigued by this story and want to learn more about the challenges faced by transgender individuals in the prison system, or if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel for more intriguing stories.